Could the Bulls be possibly bringing back Doug McDermott, one of my favorite basketball players I have ever watched? That's what we're going to be talking about at the first half of today's show. And also, we're going to hit a little Coby White, as I am actually a believer in Coby White, and I'm going to explain to you guys why I think a breakout season could be coming and what it could take, or what it will take, for Coby White to finally take that next step. My name is Patrick Siepman. Welcome into the Bulls Report here by Chat Sports. And guys, we're closing in on 4,000 subscribers here on the channel. We're right there, 102 subscribers away. So with the NBA season, still a couple months away here, we're going to be ramping up our NBA coverage here at Chat Sports. So if you're a diehard Bulls fan, don't miss out on a single thing. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, lock us in. Who knows, maybe we could reach 4,000 subs here on today's video. Let's talk about it. Now, will the Bulls, could they bring back Dougie McBuckets? It was actually funny, kind of going back down to the timeline of Doug McDermott's time here in Chicago. We traded Gary Harris and Jusuf Nurkic for him back in the draft class when he was taken. But he's kind of had an up and down start to his NBA career. But really over the last 4 years, he has been more solidified, as a true offensive talent. Like, listen, the assists per game, he's not that type of player. He's not a playmaker. He is a pure definition of a scorer. There's a reason he scored, I think, the most points of all time back in college at Creighton, playing under his dad. But, hey, he's been able to score double digits over the past 4 seasons, and it's efficiency for me. Like, he has been incredibly efficient. I think he's honestly been one of the more underrated players here over the last couple of seasons. Because anytime you're averaging 10-plus points a game and shooting damn near over 40% from three, I think that's an incredible accomplishment. But let's take a look a little deeper at his advanced shooting numbers here. Because catch and shoot three-point percentage, for a role player, I really believe that is the most important stat in the NBA, because a lot of times that is what you're going to be asked to do. You're going to be asked to be in a lot of those catch-and-shoot opportunities, and he shot that at 40.9% this past season. On all pull-up jumpers, Doug McDermott was sitting at 49%. And then from the free throw line down in the paint area, he was at 56.4%. So very solid as well. But Doug McDermott's got a big overall frame, and he can obviously shoot the living lights out of the basketball. So overall, I am a fan of what he does on the basketball court, and he is on an expiring contract for $13.75 million with the San Antonio Spurs. Maybe the Spurs could be sitting there at the NBA trade deadline. Maybe they're still kind of going through that rebuilding process with Victor Wembanyama, and they're just going to say, hey, who wants Doug McDermott? He's on an expiring deal. You guys can take him. Maybe he can help a team get them over the hump. Maybe Doug could be that guy for the Chicago Bulls. But I'll ask you guys before I give you guys my final thoughts on Dougie McBuckets. Would you trade for Doug McDermott? Give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass down in the comments section. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. So if YouTube hits you with the YouTube ad break, sit back, let it play, and answer today's pinned comment. I ain't going to do it. Maybe this is my bias coming out of me just because I watched him all the time at Creighton, and I love the way he plays basketball. He's actually somebody I tried to replicate my game around when I was growing up playing hoops. I would absolutely trade for him. But obviously it depends on where the Bulls are at next year's NBA trade deadline. Because, listen, the Bulls are 500 or maybe even below 500. They're going to be sellers. They're not going to be buyers. But who knows? Maybe if they are, shocking the NBA world and they're 10 games above 500 and they really think a guy like Doug McDermott could get them over the hump, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea because the Bulls could definitely use another bench scorer coming off, obviously the bench. Because I love Patrick Williams, what he does at that 4 spot. But I think him and Doug McDermott would offer a lot of, yin and yang to their game. Like all the stuff that Doug McDermott does well, Patrick Williams doesn't. All the stuff that Patrick Williams doesn't do well, Doug McDermott does that extremely well. So I would be open to him, and I think you could get him for maybe a second or, maybe a heavily protected first-round pick. Who knows? Maybe the Spurs get desperate and just kind of want to shop him to wherever he wants to go. So I would bring him back, but obviously it depends on where the Bulls are. And that's what I want to end here talking about Doug McDermott. Man, he was a dog in college. His game, honestly, I'm shocked it translated as well as it did to the NBA. Obviously, it took him a couple years, but his game in college, go throw on some Doug McDermott Creighton highlights after you guys watch today's video. Because he was a dog. He was one of my favorite players to watch. He was a true 3-level scorer in college. And he was the definition of, one of those guys that has the blackout factor, where if he sees the first 2 shots go in, he's blacking out for the rest of the game, and it doesn't matter if you have 20 hands in his face. He is like always seeing his back rim. Is the point I'm trying to make. So I loved him at college. I think he's kind of, gotten his feet wet a little here in the NBA, and I would be all in on the Bulls of bringing him into Chicago. I'm going to be talking about why I think Coby White could be primed for a breakout here in a second. But, hey, you guys got to take advantage of this sweet deal we have going on at chatsports.com/Bulls combo. We got this 2 T-shirt pack right now for $20 off. They're originally $49.99. You can get 2 T-shirts for $29.99. I'll make sure I put that link for you guys in the comment section and the description of today's show. Make sure you guys check it out and click our link to take advantage of this great deal for these 2 Bulls T-shirts. Now let's do it. Is Coby White set to break out? Because if there's any player on this team besides Patrick Williams, I think Patrick Williams is the, maybe the most chalk answer for a player that could break out for the Bulls, but Patrick Williams is obviously the guy that, I think has the best chance to break out, but I think Coby White is right behind him. Yes, we have seen over the last 3 seasons his points per game go down 3 points every single year. He came onto the league, being the 7th overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft. His rookie year, he was great. Averaged just over 13 a game. The efficiency a little shaky, but he really took a next step in the 2020 season. I thought he was pretty damn solid. Averaging 15 a game on damn near 41% from the field and 36% from deep. I thought Coby White was kind of going to shift into that, Tyrese Maxey type of player where it's that scoring combo guard, that you could bring in off the bench. But obviously Tyrese Maxey took a huge step, and Coby White kind of took a step back. This past season, he had his lowest points per game of his NBA career, sitting at 9.7. Well, the efficiency was, still pretty solid. Let's go a little deeper here on Coby White. His catch and shoot 3-point percentage, 40.6. Very solid. I'll take that any day of the week. Anytime you can shoot over 37% from a catch and shoot standpoint from the 3-point land, I'm cool with that. Pull-up jumpers, actually lower than I thought. I think that is one thing that he needs to get better at is this pull-up game, especially coming off pick and rolls when other teams' bigs are running drop coverage. We see that so much in the modern-day game where you're going to have to step into a jumper and, knock it down. And then less than 10 feet. He hasn't been the best slasher since he's got to the league. We've seen really him struggle with, attacking bigger defenders. He was able to have a sweet floater in college. That hasn't really translated to the NBA, so that's something where he can also improve at. But overall, we're going to dive into 3 things where I think Coby White can improve. I think overall, I'm happy with what he's done so far in his NBA career. I wish maybe, I will say this. When the Bulls brought in LaVine and DeRozan, that was the one thing I was scared about, or DeRozan mainly. Is Coby White kind of getting put on the back burner here and his shot attempts per game going down? And obviously they did. But where can Coby White improve? I think the next steps start here. Number 1, no doubt, be a more consistent scorer. He is the definition of a flamethrower. Coby, I swear it felt like last season for the Bulls, he was either going to go 2 of 11 and chuck up bricks the whole time, or he was going to be a very efficient, 8 of 11 and give you a solid 20, 25 points with decent assist and rebounding numbers. So number 1, I think he just needs to be more a consistent scorer and just enough with kind of this roller coaster of shooting percentage. And then number 2, he's a terrible defender. I don't want to bury him too much, but sometimes when I'm watching the Bulls, I feel like I could personally score on Coby White, and by no means do I actually think that is true, but he needs to bring in a little more defensive because, people sleep that he's 6'5". Coby White, you look at him, I would probably think he's 6'2", 6'3". He's got pretty decent size to him. So I think the defensive side of the floor, maybe it's an effort thing. And, he's going to be playing around a lot of good defensive guards in Chicago this year with Carter, Caruso, and, Ayo. So, I just want to see him kind of take that next step on the defensive side of the floor where he's not getting picked on, because we saw it countless times with other teams' opposing guards. They would have Caruso on him. They'll be just dribbling out, call for a pick and roll on Coby White's guy, get the switch, and go to town on him. So if he could just kind of limit that a little bit this next season, I think that would help him, but also the overall Bulls defense. Number 3, it's got to be playmaking for me. Listen, like I just said, he's a 6'5" combo guard. I'm not saying he's going to be like that Lonzo Ball type of player where he's 6'6", can guard 1 through 3, can really get the ball up in transition. But the one thing that I want Coby White to improve on, and I think honestly the Bulls as a whole can improve on this, is throwing the ball up in transition. This is what Steve Nash and those running gun Phoenix Suns days back in 06 did so well, where Steve Nash would get the ball and instead of typical point guard dribbling it out and kind of taking a grasp on the game a little bit, he would just get it up there, throw it up, and he would make that extra pass and get his team in an advantageous, situation. That's what I think Coby White has struggled with. Too many times where he just gets the ball, he's walking it up the court, and he's just kind of only thinking about, himself. Obviously, that's not the case all the time, but his playmaking ability is something I want to see him improve on, and just overall, actually, the whole Chicago Bulls. But I ask you guys, do you guys believe in Coby White? Are you a Coby White believer? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no. Overall, I am a Coby White believer. I believe in the kid out of North Carolina. I believe in the 7th overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft. I just think it's going to come down to, I think it's going to come down to opportunity and, heart and hustle on the defensive side of the floor and just overall being more consistent. But I'm a believer in Coby White. And I do want to end today's show with this. We're going to bring on producer Jake Chipper, the man, the myth, the legend here. We're going to close out every single show here on the Bulls Report, starting something new. We're going to both name a random current NBA player. So any NBA player you can think of off the top of your head, we're both going to say it at the same time. And if we, for some reason, how many players are in the NBA, Chip? Like 15 on a roster times 30 teams? Like, whatever the math is.
That's a lot.
A lot of players. So the chances of this happening are extremely rare. Honestly, I just want to see if we could get even the same conference of players. So, Chip, if you want to count us down from 3, and we could say it at the same time.
So after 1, 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, say it.
All right, you ready?
Let's go.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Harrison Barnes.
Fox. Oh, the same team last year.
Both on the Kings.
On the Kings. All right, that's shocking. That is shocking. That is a great start to it. So, hey, if you guys are real ones and made it to the end of today's video, I said De'Aaron Fox. Chip said Harrison Barnes. Comment those 2 names down below so I know you guys are real one. Something fun here. We're starting on the channel. I can't believe we just got the 2 guys on the Sacramento Kings. Who would have thought that? But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the show, and we will see you guys next time.